It is now being reported that the transfer of deceased hostages' body has been scheduled for this afternoon. The number of the bodies being transferred is not confirmed yet, but at least 26 hostages have been confirmed dead by Israel, and Hamas has said that it could face difficulties in locating some of their bodies. I'd like to bring you in here again, Anat. We are seeing that, the bodies of the deceased also has been a point of negotiation. Israel has maintained that it wants all the bodies back because, you need to pay your last respects to them, to the departed innocent souls. But Hamas is now stating that there will be difficulty, in fact, in locating some of these bodies, and they do not know where they are.
It's 2 years. Some of the bodies were bodies of people that they killed while being hostage, and some of the body they just dragged from in October 7 into Gaza to keep it for negotiation. And so much happened in those 2 years that unfortunately I can understand that sometimes they don't know where they put the bodies, but apparently Israel know where the bodies are. And in the pact, there is a clause about how to work and find those bodies. I need to mention one person that was not in the news, but there is a Nepali citizen among the hostages. We were hoping that he will be alive, but the fact that he was not released in the 20 unfortunately suggests that he is among the dead. Bipin Joshi, he was a student for agriculture in Israel that was also taken in October 7. He was hostage. There is footage from his captivity, but the fact that he was not released this morning, it's a big agony for all of us, because we were hoping that maybe there will be a miracle and Bipin Joshi will be released. And you can see the barbarism of Hamas. They just took whomever they want. He told them, I'm a Nepali, I have nothing to do with this conflict. And they still took him in a hostage. Among the dead body, there will be also few of Thai workers that were taken captive as well. So just to mention that it's not just Israelis among the hostages that were are still kept, and I hopefully will be released. From what I know, there are 9 bodies that Hamas is not sure about their whereabouts, and I truly hope that eventually each and every one will be brought back home to a proper burial on the land of Israel.
Right. I'd also like to welcome Major General retired Sudhakar Ji. He's a senior geopolitical and strategic defense expert. Major General Sudhakar Ji, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time. I would like to understand your views on this entire situation that's currently unfolding. Donald Trump is in Israel. He is going to address the parliament over there very soon, and obviously then head to Egypt to discuss the next option for Gaza. Do you think militarily, if hypothetically Hamas agrees to disarm itself, don't you think it will create a vacuum in the region again, and then we'll see it will create again a long-term problem in that region?
Shivani, good afternoon. Thank you, and thank you for getting me for your show. And my compliments to very distinguished co-panelists. I have been listening to her pearls of wisdom. You see, my take on the whole issue, firstly, compliments. At least some breakthrough has been made. Compliments to Donald Trump and his team. Donald Trump, at least a man, has stuck his neck out in this very, very volatile and geopolitical churn we are going through. And he is the only person in the world order who repeatedly has been saying that he would like to bring any kind of conflict anywhere to an end. So towards that end, there is a humble beginning we have made, but it is too premature, Shivani, it is too premature to celebrate in any form, because the history of Israel and Hamas or the Palestine is not one day, yeah, one night affair. It's been going on even prior to 1947-48. And 47-48, let's be mindful of the fact of UN resolution. The I would say resolution 181 part 2. One should not be ignorant about that. That although it gave a place to settle down to Israelis, but it did not ignore the relevance and importance and meaning of the Palestinians. The Arab also had a place. So from that end and the series of negotiations, talks, conflicts which have gone in, and peoples have been murdered. The Rabin, if I remember correctly, Oslo's agreement was very close. In fact, they had such fantastic pragmatic approach. Couple of people got Nobel Peace Prize because of that. Yasser Arafat suddenly shot into prominence. He became the president of PLO in 1994, if I respect my memory. But what happened in 1995? The same Prime Minister of Israel, he was in broad daylight, he was killed, he was assassinated. And if I again have read the history correctly, Netanyahu happened to be instrumental in that particular murder. So there are lots of turnaround, and why go in proximal timeline, go back to 1948. If I again respect my memory, one of the representatives of the United Nations who was representing the Palestinian, he also was murdered for bringing some kind of normalcy. And so there are such kind of issues which will crop up. So therefore, to answer your question, first point you have made is the Hamas. Though hypothetical, it is a hypothetical question. I suspect if Hamas would agree to that particular stance of surrendering or disarming, because disarmament means what? Disarmament has to be conditional. Is the 20-point proposal proposed by Donald Trump, is it in any form indicative of two-nation theory? What is the future of Hamas or the Palestinians? Is anybody talking about that? Are you creating a distinction between the West Bank, which is occupied by Israelis, and also taking some kind of a commitment that West Bank is not going to be annexed? You see, unless there is an assurance, how is Hamas going to blissfully dream and imagine or visualize that peace is going to actually take them through some kind of a stability? You talk about stability only when the end state is in somewhat some clarity. While I am a man of optimism, like my co-panelists, I wish and pray that something meaningful should take place. This mindless conflict must come to an end. Too many children, too many people have been, innocent people have been killed. There is a critical humanitarian crisis. You don't tell people to move from place A to place B, and when they are moving through the route C, you start bombing them. This is worse than Holocaust that is taking place. This conflict must come to an end, which I think we have made a very good beginning. Now, I would say, despite what Tony Blair's proposal, his think tank has proposed, I would say that when such big events take place at a global level, and particularly critical issues like Hamas and Israel, you have to have some neutral agency on ground to oversee the activities. Whether those neutral agency, Donald Trump, just by one flight from Washington to this place, he is not going to oversee. There have to be some accountable kind of a contingent, some people who have to be given command, power and authority, and they should be able to oversee what has been actually proposed in the peace plan. And any variation, they should be able to take measures to counter it effectively or address them effectively. Second point I have is, now let's say hypothetically you're talking, Hamas, let's say they surrender the weapon. Now, talking about hypothesis, you create scenario. These are called as scenario building. In scenario building, one option is they surrender. They accept that they would be disarming themselves. Well, there is no conflict then. It's a very good, very happy situation going to take place. But then aren't we as the global citizens accountable for the future of those Hamas? Aren't we responsible to make sure that they are led to a place of stability, security and safety? What is that place of security, safety and other things? Are they going to be transited to Indonesia or to send to Egypt or is to Jordan? Are all these countries prepared to accept them, or they are going to be adjusted in Gaza itself or in West Bank? So such are the questions which are coming up. Second scenario is, let's say, partially they surrender and partially they don't. Well, it is meaningless. And third and most important is they don't surrender at all. My take on that as a military man is, we as soldiers should be prepared for the worst eventuality. The worst eventuality is what history has told us. Take it that Hamas will not surrender or will not disarm or lend themselves to disarming the weapons, because they are also concerned about a couple of issues. First and foremost, their safety and security. Second, there is no guarantee that Israel is not going to bomb them or kill them. And third and most important thing is the future. Where do they go? That is the moot question which Donald Trump has to think about. The global leaders have to apply themselves, and it is too premature to actually celebrate and go around spreading happiness and joy. It is too premature. Let's keep your fingers crossed. Let's cross this first obstacle. Let the exchange of the hostages and the prisoners take place. Nobody knows. You see, in your figure, I am told Israel has floated out an information that there are 1,700 prisoners, Palestinian prisoners. I, as an independent, open source student of geopolitics, I have got calculated figure of 11,000 Palestinians and more who are prisoners held by Israelis. How are you going to wind up everything with 1,700 plus couple of here and there? So where is the count? Who is keeping the count? Which is the neutral authority which is to be respected and be held accountable? So such are the issues, Shivani, that are coming to my mind. I only hope and pray, like my very distinguished co-panelist, I am also an optimist. This conflict must come to an end. Peace and normalcy must get back to not only here in the Middle East, but also to the Central Europe.